Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swagglehos. Well, as you guys know, I was at WonderCon the other week, and while I was at the con, I thought to myself, maybe I should go around and ask some of these dealers, what they think I should buy as a collector. I mean, we have some of the biggest brains in the comic book collecting hobby in one room, and maybe these guys can give me some ideas for books to invest in or to spec on. I mean, obviously on the channel, we talk a lot about spec books and investment books, but I'm kind of tired of hearing my own voice. So for that reason, I thought it'd be good to get some different perspectives in this video here today. And a lot of these dealers, they gave me good ideas. Some of them talked more in generalizations of what I should buy. Some mentioned some very specific books, but in this video, I'm going to show you guys what they mentioned to me. Now, of course, the golden rule is always buy what you like, but in case you want some other ideas, here's what they had to say. All right, I'm with Phil from Champions Comics right here. So Phil, what do you think as a dealer that books that are underpriced or good to buy right now?
Two books, I think. One is Spidey number 33. That's considered to be the greatest Spider-Man story ever that Stan Lee wrote.
That's a good one.
And the other one is FF 51, which is supposed to be the greatest FF story that he wrote, or at least his favorite. Obviously, the Galactus trilogy is most people's favorite, but Stan's is issue 51. You have a couple of copies here. It is a great standalone story. Give that a try, but those are pretty undervalued these days, and I'm getting a little bit more interest. People are looking for those.
Yeah, specking on the actual writing, the story aspect, as opposed to the appearance aspect. That's not a bad idea.
Right.
All right, I'm with Hiram here from Hiram's Comics, and so my question to you, Hiram, on my channel, I talk sometimes about, what books, to invest in or to spec on, and I'm asking the dealers around here what books they think are good buys right now, and what do you think? Do you have any ideas for the people out there?
So I'm a really big fan of things with staying power in the market, and the biggest things with staying power in the market are definitely pre-code Golden Age books. Examples of that are actually, this is Rob from Red Hood Comics book. This is a Chamber of Chills, number 19, classic pre-code horror, probably the most classic pre-code horror book, 5.0, and this book has never gone down, ever. You buy it today, and in 2 weeks, you'll still be able to get what you got from it. It's just one of the most incredible covers of all time. And if you're ever going to buy anything, it has to be a Chamber of Chills 19.
Very, very cool. All right, so I'm here with Elveen from Elveen's Comics.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Elveen, I'm tired of trying to figure out what books I'm trying to buy. I need some fresh ideas.
Sure.
You as a dealer, you're always pricing your books and stuff. Is there any books that you've noticed, like, hey man, I'm surprised that this is not more expensive or anything like that?
First off, Swaggle. Listen, my man, Swaggle. Come on, every day, consume the content. I'll tell you right now, all these content creators, we gotta support these guys, man. That's the soul of the industry right now. Guys like my man Swaggle, go on his page, support him. If you see him, he's real approachable, give him a squeeze. He's a good dude. All right, I appreciate you. Okay, so my kind of recommendations. I got a couple of general, then some specifics.
Okay.
The first thing I'll say general, and I've been asked this question for years and years and years, you gotta buy what you like.
Right.
Buy what you like, right?
100%. You gotta do that.
If you're gonna watch Swaggle, they say buy this book, but you don't like it, don't buy it. Don't buy it, right? That's his book. You find what you like. Okay, that's number one blanket. Number two, I'll tell you a little something that I've been doing for years and years and years. I've probably, at the show, I've probably bought like 5 short boxes of books from other dealers, myself. Okay. I'm buying for next weekend on my IG live sale. I'm buying for my next show in a month. I'm buying for next year. I'm buying for 5 years down the line. Your boy's been in the game for 17 years. I'm gonna be in the game for 27 years.
Right.
So I'm buying down the line. So you can imagine, what's hot right now. If you can get it. But whatever's hot right now, why is it hot right now? Well, you can look at the factors, right? Because a trailer dropped, or a show was announced, or this actress was announced. Well, if that makes a book hot, then think to yourself, what's coming down the line?
Yeah.
Right? What's coming down the line? Something I was talking to my friend Jay about on the way out to the show yesterday was, let's look at Namor. We know Namor is going to come. I'm going to get the first appearance of Namor. No, you're not, because it's a Golden Age book that no one can afford.
Right.
But it's not going to be just Namor. He needs surrounding supporting characters.
Right.
So you could go and get those surrounding supporting characters, right? So that's a suggestion that I have for you is look at what we know is coming and try to imagine who are the surrounding supporting characters. Someone like, actually my friend right now, over there, his name is Sean right there. Sean, wave to the people.
What's up,
That's my man Sean right there. We were at a show in Phoenix, and they announced Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm gonna tell a story.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're like, oh, it's Star-Lord, right?
Right.
Sean went out before the show started, and he bought every Hulk 271 he could. First Rocket in Comics. He bought every one he could. He bought 8-9 copies.
Something like that.
He paid $5 each of those.
Right.
Ended up selling each of them for about 100, right? Because he knows you're gonna have to have other characters besides Star-Lord in the movie, right? So we know what's gonna come. Daredevil's coming, right? What else do they need besides Daredevil, right? So I like surrounding supporting characters. That's number one. Number two, I would suggest characters that people all know, but the book might not be where it should be. For example, right on the top corner, Swaggle, can you see it right there?
Yeah.
Right on the top corner.
Oh, I'll put up a picture. We'll put up a picture on this.
All right, Teen Titans 44, first appearance of Nightwing. It's like a $100 book and like, a 9, let's say. Everybody knows who Nightwing is. Everybody. He knows Nightwing. He knows, all these people in the booth, they know who Nightwing is.
Yeah.
So why is the book $100? So I like books like that. Nova was like that forever. Now Nova's gonna be a $300-400 book. Well, you could have got first Nova for $50 for years.
Right.
So there's a lot of characters like this. Number 3, and I'll end with this, my friends. Don't think it's done. Don't think it's like, oh, everything's already happened. Bruh, we so far from everything happened. It's the tip of the iceberg. So sure, you don't gotta flip it, but there's an Amazing Fantasy 15 right there. There's a Hulk 1 right there, Daredevil number 1. They moved on from us, man. Now your boy got some of those, but they moved on from most people, right? There's gonna be new ones. There's gonna be new things, right? Like, I like Warlock. Your boy likes Warlock a lot. So get the Thor books, get the Fantastic Four books. They haven't popped yet. Right? But really, buy what you like, my friends. That's what's gonna keep you happy. And my last thing I will say, and Swaggle again, follow my man Swaggle. Open the books. Look in the books, man. They're amazing inside the pages, right? Like, take them out the plastic, look at the books, flip them, get the full enjoyment of your investment. Fall in love with the hobby, man. Fall in love with it. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna keep you moving. That's gonna keep you going. That's what keeps me coming week after week, show after show, live sale after live sale. It's the love, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, my man Swaggle, that's the G right there. Everyone, I appreciate you.
What should I buy? Or do you find certain books that stand out to you as being kind of undervalued or sleeper at all?
Well, let's just say, why are we buying comics first? We're buying to recreate our childhood. It's one of the things that it's nostalgia. It's reminiscent of happier days. People, in my estimation, people don't get the best toothpaste. They get a comic book. They save money for this reason. So, I think what's a good mindset for buying comics is, what did you love as a kid, and zero in on that and get the highest grade during those years. And also, my opinion is that the Bronze Age is undervalued, especially in high grade. 25 centers, 20 centers, cover price all the way up to about 40 cents. And just get them in like mint.
Right.
And you're going to be doing good, because the Bronze Age is the new Silver Age. It was always like the 30-year-olds that got new money that came and said, "Oh, well, hey, I had that as a kid." So the new 30-year-olds and the new money guys are getting their childhood. Now, of course, that's the 80s now.
Sure.
And the 90s. There's not a lot of unbelievably low-priced, undervalued 90s books, I'm sorry to say. So there are very few and far in between.
Right.
Maybe 1 out of 1,000. But all those 25 centers and 30 centers, they're beautiful, bright colors, old-style production. I think they're undervalued. So many of them in high grade are well under $100 a piece. It's just something to get.
I feel like a lot of Silver Age, Bronze Age stuff from the DC era are just completely undervalued. We have Green Lantern, Flash, Hawkman. Those titles are just overlooked, undervalued, very cheap, and just overlooked. Everybody's on the Marvel train. That's the issue. And if you want to stay on that Marvel train, there's still some other titles that aren't so obvious that are very affordable still. that like Tales of Suspense, if you wanted to start that title run,
Right.
there are some nice cheap books, beautiful Silver Age things that you can collect, and you know, you don't have to pay absurd amounts for the major keys that are, like I said, too obvious.
Right. It's like they're still just classic Marvel runs.
Classic Marvel runs. They still have a lot of value, and very affordable still for the average collector.
Right. Right.
So-
Now of the DC stuff, obviously, you know, Batman gets attention.
Yeah,
Still.
Batman's already obvious. Too obvious.
Do you feel like, I guess maybe between like Aquaman, Green Lantern, Flash, is there any of those characters specifically you notice being the most undervalued to look at?
Green Lantern.
Green
Easily.
Lantern for sure.
Green Lantern for
Yeah.
sure.
Like Guy Gardner,
Yeah.
John Stewart, all that stuff.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Everything.
Okay,
Starting from the earliest as it goes, you Hal Jordan down all the way, all the way to the back. Yeah.
For us, like right now, we've been more excited about than any book is Miracle Man #1. I mean, if you guys research the story of it, it's just really cool. I mean, it was voted, I guess, like Story of the Year in 1985. We've read it; it's really cool. I mean, it started with Marvel Man in the UK in the Golden Age. You know, there's this whole storyline. If you research it about how, you know, the rights were acquired, how Marvel ended up with it, about, you know, Todd McFarlane trying to publish, in this and getting sued. Neil Gaiman had to put out his storyline to be able to pay for the legal fees. I mean, there's just a lot of excitement around it. And if you're familiar, if you're looking at the new titles, you look at Timeless. Which one?
Timeless
one
coming out with in the back page. I can't forget this, or I can't.
That's right. They have their little Easter egg.
Yeah, he's like, I can't seem to get this image out of my mind with the logo for Miracle Man. So it's like, and then the second printing, the entire cover is the Miracle Man logo. So like, the hype is there, but like, there's a lot of copies of this book floating around. So this would be one I would be looking for sure. I mean, we've been running specials on these here at the show because we've just been excited about it. So it's one that we're stoked on. Plus, the story is borderline creepy and really cool. I mean, it's Alan Moore and then Neil Gaiman after Alan Moore finished writing. So, and the series was never finished. So the idea is like, are they going to finish it, or what are they going to do? So as far as new things that are exciting, for us, this is the one. Yeah, other than that, I got to go back to the Golden Age and just hunt pre-code horror and stuff. But everything is so expensive right now that, you know, it's really just a matter of finding the stuff that you dig and that you want, that you feel like it just speaks to you, I think. You know, even if you're looking at things like pre-code horror, there's 10 covers that everybody wants. So if you've got bottomless pockets, then buy those ones. And by all means, you should, I guess. But there's a lot of them in that $100 to $300 range anyway, pre-code horror, that are just amazing and probably will be worth a ton in the future too. But regardless of value, are going to be ones that, you know, speak to you think are really cool.
First thing that comes to mind is Adam Warlock. We know he's coming.
Yeah, and the prices are still
They're reasonable.
gettable. They're
Yes,
gettable.
they're reasonable.
Still
They won't
gettable.
break your wallet. But in 6 months' time, or when you get another hit from Guardians of the Galaxy and the trailer drops, you're gonna bleed. You're gonna
forget
bleed
about it.
cash.
Forget about it.
Exactly.
So I think high-grade black covers from the 60s and 70s are always a good thing, but that's why you're seeing a spike in things like Daredevil 43, which is that great jet black cover with Captain America, Daredevil 37 and 38 with Doom. People are looking at Doom appearances, but these books, you know, Marvel doesn't have a lot of these black covers from that time period like DC's do. There's a lot of people chasing Marvel because they think, you know, the Marvel movies are more significant to the market, but you got to take into consideration that the DC books from the 1960s and early 70s with those, you know, black covers and dark brown covers are very difficult in high grade. So obviously this stuff doesn't mean as much in, you know, 6.0, 6.5, stuff like that. But in higher grade it means a lot. There's plenty of books in the market I think I would be chasing. I think you look at things like Marvel Spotlight 28 versus Solo Moon Knight. You compare that to, say, First Solo Blade and Vampire Tales 8. First Solo Blade is a steal. I sold a copy yesterday for, you know, a nice higher grade copy, stickered at $220. I sold for $200, and that would be a $650 book on Spotlight 28. So that's a good example.
Yeah, that's a great one.
You know, the other thing is, you know, during the pandemic, Well, 271 keeps going up, but I haven't seen prices spike on Marvel Preview 7 which is the first true appearance of Rocket Raccoon. And, you know, some people argue, oh, well, that's magazine versus comic. Really, I don't understand that argument. It's the same thing. I don't understand that argument. It's his first appearance. It's not a cameo. He's in like 18 panels. And there's no question that Marvel Preview 7 is undervalued in the market. And that Rocket, it's a breakthrough character that's got enormous potential. They got a holiday special coming out with him and Groot. And he's just got a big opportunity for a crossover audience because of the type of character he is and his ability to appeal to a younger segment of the demographic.
So if you were going to give me some advice of books to look out for, or what books you think, you know, might be good buys, what have you seen kind of with your eyes on the market?
So what's been really exciting is the market is very strong, and we're really happy to see so many people coming into the market from other lines of collectibles, other collectible categories. What's been great is we've been building up. Every auction seems to be getting better and better and stronger. We have right behind me tons of amazing artwork. Frank Miller, Mike Zeck, Alex Ross, Bill Sienkiewicz. Great artwork coming up in our next auction, as well as some amazing comic books which we can show you in the case. But I pulled out a few to just give you an idea of things where I think there's still room. Hot books, but I think there's a way to go. So one of the first books is Punch Comics number 12 from the John Byrne collection. This is the classic Golden Age cover. Incredible, very high demand. Whatever you think this is going to go for, it's probably going to go for more.
Right.
And in a year from now, you'll be looking back going, should have bought that.
Yeah.
Damn it. Another great book. Tales to Astonish 27, The Man in the Anthill, the first appearance of Ant-Man. What I love about this book is some people overlook it. It's not really a superhero book. It is a superhero book. This is the first appearance of Ant-Man,
right.
And it's a classic. And it's very, very tough to get in anywhere close to high grade. This is a 7.5. In most of the Marvel Silver Age keys, this would be the equivalent of an 8.5 or 9.0.
Right.
That's how tough it is to get in grade.
Yeah, one of the big Silver Age is that it's a 10 center too. So it's
that is true. Yes. Another favorite of mine. This is actually the first Silver Age comic book I ever bought. Not this particular copy. Mine was a beat up VG X-Men number 12, first appearance of Juggernaut. And here you have in a gorgeous 9.6. A few years ago, we hit world records on 9.8 copies of this book. And in our last couple auctions, we hit really great numbers. I think there were records for 9.6s as well. Here's a copy with beautiful off-white to white pages and gorgeous colors. And you got Juggy right there, and it's one of my favorite villains, and I think it's going to crush.
So definitely, like, you think maybe some of those, the real high grades, people really appreciate those, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are low grade books you can do well with, but we brought some creme de la creme here to the
and they're that much more rare. You know?
That's true. And here's one of my favorite books that's in the upcoming event auction, which will start in May and end in June on ComicConnect.com. This is Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1, first appearance of the Sinister Six, which is one of the coolest villain team-ups in the history of comic books. And what I love about this book is hard to tell, but the spine is just so beautiful on this book. And it's got great colors, beautiful corners, great paper. This is a knockout. People are going to be beating each other up for this in the auction. But I still think whoever wins this book, it'll be a year from now, you're going to be going, yeah, I made a great buy, and I wish I had 5 more copies, because this is super tough to get in high grade. And then if you take a quick look, pan across the top of the display case, first Flash, first cover Wonder Woman Sensation 1, first Robin, first Fantastic Four, an 8.0 AF-15, first Spider-Man, Spider-Man number 1, Avengers number 1, and you got much, much more. So my opinion about the marketplace is that it's still got so much legs to it, because when you look at other collectibles and you think about the rarity of comic books, you realize other collectibles in general are pretty common, comparatively speaking, to comic books. Comic books have certain things that make them very difficult for them to have lasted over time. First of all, moms threw them out. Second of all, you've got 2 different types of papers. Sometimes the acids in the papers are battling with one another and cause degradation of the paper. So you got the cover paper and you got the interior paper. Then you have metal, so you have a paper product, but it has metal staples. Now you have those metal staples, and sometimes they get rusted. Sometimes they're water damaged. Sometimes they're fire. There's so many different things that can happen to comic books that make them very difficult for them to have lasted. They were also thought of as disposable entertainment. You read them once and you tossed them out. Well, thank God some people didn't throw them out, and we have these collectibles here. And again, this is why I think comic books are undervalued and have a long way to go. I'd much rather have an AF-15 than pretty much anything else in the collectible world. These are great pieces to put money into for the future. They're tangible assets. This is where people are really focusing on right now. Stock market is crazy. Real estate market is overvalued. There's so many different places and things that you're going, what am I doing here? I'm not sure. Comic books, the sure thing.
Unfortunately, at the end of the day, my mic was acting up on me, so I wasn't able to get sound with the remaining interviews, but I did want to share what they had mentioned to me. And in this interview with Blue Chip Comics, he basically told me, look out for what is to come, and what is to come is going to be Black Suit Spider-Man. So he had this beautiful Secret Wars #8 in a 9.9 grade, and he had just made mention of what some of the other dealers had said, where it's like, you got to look at what's on the horizon. Black Suit Spider-Man is probably going to be coming, and books like this are definitely going to get hot. Similarly, I was with Lawrence from P-Dots Comics, and he had mentioned to me that he was looking at, characters like Kang the Conqueror and what books relate to him, and he came across Thor 140, first appearance of the Growing Man, a character I absolutely love, who is Kang's main lackey. And if we're getting Kang in Ant-Man 3, it would make sense to have a character called Growing Man for a movie like that. So, looking at books that relate to Kang the Conqueror. And lastly, I was with Harley from Harley Yee's Rare Comics, and he had mentioned to me the classic Batman 423 with the Todd McFarlane art. He was talking about Todd McFarlane just as an artist and thinking about all of his books that, had such an impression during the Copper Age, like the Incredible Hulk 340 and things like that. And just mentioning that, Todd McFarlane doesn't have that much artwork on DC books, and that he felt like 423 was going to be one for the long term. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Obviously, there's a lot of different opinions out there, a lot of different ways you could go in the comic book collecting hobby. It's almost like there's no wrong answers and that you should just focus on buying what you like. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Did you feel like you got any good ideas from the dealers? Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.